ComiCon.com presents 20 Facts You Probably Didn't Know About ComiCon. ComiCon is one of the most popular entertainment conventions for fans across the world. Every year, countless celebrities come to promote movies, television shows, games, and other things they've starred in. ComiCon brings a bunch of entertainment fans together, and it's one of the largest fan conventions in the world. Here are 20 facts you probably didn't know about ComiCon. Number 20, how it started. Here's a brief rundown of how ComiCon started. In 1970, Shel Dorf, who had run successful and similar conventions in Detroit, recruited his friends to help him start one up when he moved to San Diego. They did multiple shows throughout the city that year, drew hundreds of fans, and simply never looked back. It all starts with a great debut, of course. Number 19, kicking off with a bang. So how did the actual first Comic-Con event pan out? Hyped up as the Golden State Comic Book Convention, it was held in the U.S. Grand Hotel, with close to 300 people attending. Number 18, its own show. Comic-Con events feature lots of celebrities, and the sets have even been used for some major Hollywood stars. Mark Hamill's comic book, the movie, the television show Entourage, The O.C., and others have used the comic convention as filming locations. Comic-Con just always finds ways to be in the spotlight. Number 17, low numbers. For an event that holds thousands of fans every year, you'd think Comic-Con has the amount of employees that McDonald's does in America. The boards for the San Diego and New York events feature 13 board members. On top of that, 16 to 20 full-time workers and close to 80 volunteers. All of that to serve thousands and thousands of people. Number 16, starring. The aforementioned first convention had some special names attend the event. Jack Kirby, one of America's finest creators ever and one of the men behind designing Captain America, attended. So did popular authors A.E. Van Vogt and Ray Bradbury. Number 15, happy birthday, Jack. The aforementioned Jack Kirby clearly had a special place in Comic-Con, but it wasn't just because of his attendance for the original event. In fact, his 75th birthday was celebrated there in 1992. I guess it was deserved with his major contributions to the comic book industry. Number 14, Star Wars. The San Diego Comic-Con has always ensured that some popular celebrities come to the event. So who were the main stars used at their first Hollywood panel? It was the stars of Star Wars, arguably the most popular film series of all time. Sadly, the attendance was considered a disappointment. Try it today, and you're talking about millions of fans trying to get there. Number 13, easy money. You better believe having one city host the Comic-Con event every year is a huge moneymaker. In fact, the city makes a huge ton of dough off of hosting it. They earn what has been reported to be about $165 million every year. Fans come together, people get paid, and the city makes a large amount of money off of it. We wonder how the city spends that money. Number 12, growing and growing. The Comic-Con has always brought in more attendees every year. 300 the first time, then 10,000 in 1989. 2001 brought 50,000 fans. 2005 had over 100,000 people. 2015, the reported estimate was 167,000 people. Number 11, go for a walk. As our last fact told you, Comic-Con brings so many fans that overcrowding is inevitable. Okay, so what's the catch? Well, how about the fact that in 2012, they didn't allow anyone to purchase parking passes online? Yep, you may have wanted to start lining up days earlier, or even just walk all the way there. Odds are you ain't getting a good parking spot. Number 10, wait, there's more. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Comic-Con, the one in San Diego isn't the only place that hosts events by the name. In fact, there are major Comic-Con conventions across the planet. Canada has ones in Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, and Winnipeg. The United Kingdom has 5. India, Russia, and Australia each have 1, and dozens more in the US. If you don't want to line up forever in San Diego, perhaps you can find another one near you. Number 9, go to Winnipeg's. Winnipeg isn't by any means the biggest city in Canada, well behind Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal, and others. But the Central Canada Comic-Con is actually one of the finest. In recent years, countless WWE superstars like Goldberg, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Robert Van Dam have attended, as well as celebrities like Ron Perlman, William Shatner, Adam West, Patrick Stewart, and others. Number 8, took long enough. Man, you'd think with the huge numbers we provided you about San Diego's Comic-Con that it'd be impossible to buy tickets. Well, if you didn't go before 2008, chances are you made it much harder on yourself. That's because the event sold out all days and passes for the first time ever that year, when George W. Bush was still president. Number 7, a Star Wars documentary. So how great of an experience does Comic-Con appear to be for fans? Just ask filmmaker Morgan Spurlock. Right here on YouTube, you can have a look at the documentary Spurlock made about fan experiences there. The name? ComiCon, Episode 4, A Fan's Hope. Number 6, If the Big One is Too Big. So you know how huge Comic-Con is. You don't want to dish out the money to see the major event. We understand that. Comic-Con also has smaller conventions in San Diego you can visit, such as the Comic Book Expo, which allows fans to trade their favorite superhero comics around. Con/Fusion and Pro-Con are other events you can see. Number 5, Nice Try. Comic-Con acts like some sports teams. If you move, it's not the same history anymore. What if the New York Yankees moved to Brooklyn? Well, cities like Los Angeles, Anaheim, and others tried bidding to host the event, but San Diego signed a deal to host it through 2018. Number 4, Saving the Best for Last. Many comic book and sci-fi fans love it at a young age, and it sticks with them for life. It's only fair that children get a show dedicated to them. Comic-Con does that for them. In recent years, the event in New York and San Diego concludes this convention with one dedicated to kids. What's it called? Kids Day. Oh, and in San Diego, they can get in free any day if they're under 12. Number 3, the logo's creation. The eye that looks out in the distance has become one of the most recognizable logos in the world. So how did it all start? Well-known graphic designer Richard Bruning came up with the logo, creating it in 1995. Number 2, study time. Comics aren't just something fans read. They aren't just stories turned into movies, shows, and games. They actually bring people together. Comic-Con knows this. Beginning in 1992, they started to hold conferences solely dedicated to discussing and studying comic books. What comic book fan wouldn't want to be a part of that? And number 1, lights, camera, action. Before the new millennium, most Comic-Con conventions didn't actually make movies a big part of their shows. That all changed after blockbuster 2001 films came around. Spider-Man, Star Wars Attack of the Clones, and others were huge box office hits. Comic-Con brought them into the show, and they were smashing successes. And that's it for 20 facts you probably didn't know about Comic-Con. But wait, we are not done with you yet. In the comments below, we want to know, who would you most be excited to see at Comic-Con? And for more videos, click subscribe.